My name is Zadarita. In these videos I hope to give you a basic understanding of how to start modding Halo CE Anniversary. From setting up your environment to making your first mod, these tutorials won't really require you have any previous knowledge. We do need a few tools to be able to do this, and that's where we're going to focus our attention on in this video. We're going to be using the editing kit that was designed for Halo Classic. However, we're going to use a few tools to expand the functionality to Anniversary. To start, we're going to collect all the tools we need for the tutorial. Links to all of these files are found in the description of the video. First, we need WinRAR. This will allow us to extract from archived files, as well as the installers for Halo CE and HEK. To do this, we need to navigate to the Downloads page of WinRAR and download the installer for your version of Windows. In my case, it'll be the 64-bit 6.0 version, right here. Once this finishes downloading, we'll run the installer. I already have it downloaded here. I use WinRAR as my primary archive extractor. So I'm going to go ahead and leave all of these to default. However, for more advanced setups, if you like, you can change what WinRAR gets associated with. So I'm just going to click OK. And done. And this is going to open the folder that WinRAR is installed in for some reason. I'm just going to close that. Next, we need to download the Halo Editing Kit, which is a suite of programs dedicated towards editing Halo files. These tools still work for Anniversary for the most part. To download that, we're just going to go to the HEK link in the description, and we're going to click Download. And we also need the Halo Custom Edition installer. And to do that, we go to the link in the description as well and click Download. We don't actually need to install Halo CE, so if you don't have a key or anything, you don't have to stress over that. We just need some of the files that are included in the installer to run the HEK, the Halo Editing Kit. The remaining programs I've bundled together in this link here, the MCC bundle. This has software that I've created or has software that has licenses that allows me to share it, such as Invader. So I just bundled those together to make it easier on us. So we're going to download that as well. And then optionally, we have one last tool. We're going to grab Cornman's HEK, which has a hobo in it. Since some of these tools were released in the early 2000s, some things don't work well with modern computers. There's a tool Sapien in HEK that tends to have compatibility issues with computers that have more than one CPU core. Almost every computer has multiple cores now. If you don't wish to download this, I'll show you a workaround. However, it's highly recommended to make things a lot easier on us. So, now that we have all these files, I have them extracted here. Or sorry, pardon me, I have them here. We're going to go ahead and start to create our modding environment. I already happen to have a Halo research folder, so I'm just going to go ahead and create our environment inside of this folder. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to name this CEA. And inside of this folder, we're going to go ahead and start to set up the files needed to run the modding tools. First, we're going to go ahead and extract the HEK. Now, normally we would run these files and set it up and all that, but we don't have the original Halo CD key or anything like that. We just need the files inside of it. So we're using WinRAR. By right-clicking, we're going to open with WinRAR. And this is going to open up the archive like so. So we're going to select everything inside by either clicking and dragging or pressing Control-A. And we're going to drag this into our CEA directory. This is going to take some time, so we're going to let it do its thing. Perfect. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the Halo CE setup. Open with WinRAR. I'm going to select everything. And I'm just going to click and drag. Alright. Next, I'm going to go ahead and delete everything in this maps folder. These maps are for Halo Custom Edition, and we're going to go ahead and put our Halo Anniversary maps in there instead. So next we're going to go ahead and open up our MCC bundle here, and I'm going to extract this folder somewhere on my computer. Now I can go ahead and close this. Inside the MCC bundle folder, I have a couple more files. So we're going to go ahead and start to set up Invader. To do that, in my working directory over here, I'm going to right click and create a new folder. I'm just going to name this Invader. Inside this folder, I'm going to go ahead and extract an older version of Invader. I have two versions of Invader here. The older one supports extracting from MCC, and the newer version is just a newer version that works better. So I'm going to use this version to extract the tags from the anniversary maps, and then we're just going to go ahead and upgrade to the newest version once we have them extracted. So starting with the one that ends in -mcc, we're going to open this up. We're going to select it all and extract it into our Invader folder. To make things easier on myself, I'm going to add Invader to the environment path. Now, if you don't know what that means, you don't have to stress over that, but essentially what it'll allow us to do is access these programs no matter where we are in the computer. So to do that, on Windows 8 or 10, I personally find it easiest just to open your start bar down here and type path, and it'll give me right here, edit the system environment variables. Now, for older computers, I believe the path was inside of control panel under System. Now, in System Properties, down here at the bottom, we have a button that says Environment Variables. We're going to click on that, and it opens up another window, which shows us our system variables and our user variables. The system variables applies to every single user on the computer. The user variables apply to only this current user. So I'm going to edit my current user. I'm going to double click path, and it opens up this window here. In the next blank line, I'm going to double click and click browse. Now I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the Invader folder I just created inside of my working directory. So for me, I have this inside of this PC. I have it on my storage drive under Halo Research, CEA, pardon me, and Invader. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK, and it's going to add that to our environment variable list. We're going to click OK to close out of all of these, and it'll apply our changes. Next, we need to move towards extracting the data from these maps. That way we have tags to work with. To do this, we need to get our maps from the Halo Master Chief Collection directory. The easiest way for me personally is I open up Steam, and then in my library tab, on the left side here, I have Halo Master Chief Collection. If I right click under Manage, I have the option to browse local files. This is going to open up a file browser inside of the Halo Master Chief Collection's root directory. To make things easier on myself in the future, what I like to do is I'll go back a directory by clicking here, and then right-clicking Halo the Master Chief Collection and pinning to Quick Access. This creates a quick access shortcut right here that allows me to click and bring me to this directory anytime I need. From here, we're going to grab a couple of files. Inside of Halo 1, we have original and pre-build. Original is going to be the original Halo files, hence the name. There are some modifications to them. And then pre-build is going to primarily be the Saber files for the Saber engine. So when I open original, we want to go to Build, Maps, and we want to copy all of these maps into our working directory, Maps directory. Perfect. While I'm here, I like to immediately create a backup. And also while we're in this directory, what we're going to go ahead and do is going back to our root directory here inside of Halo 1. We're going to grab prebuild, packs, and scroll down to the bottom here and find inplace1.ipac. We're going to copy this file into our maps directory. This holds all of the classic textures which lets Invader know how to extract the data from the map. Now, something to keep in mind when working with these files versus the original files are these are compressed. So if you tried to open these in any of the original tools as they are, you'll have a very hard time. I'll go over compression in another video. However, for now, that exceeds the scope of what we're discussing. Finally, we're going to go ahead and start to extract the data from these maps. To do that, we're going to use invader-extract, which is one of the invader tools right here. We're going to go to our root directory for our working directory. We can close this now. And in this top bar, where it has our directory URL, I'm going to click in an empty space. I'm going to type cmd. Now what this is going to do is it's going to open up a command prompt, but it's going to be already in that current directory. Now, because we set up invader as part of a path, we don't have to specify invader/invader-extract. Instead, we can just say invader-extract. And just so we can see what options are available, I'm going to do the -h option. And we're going to take a look at what invader-extract can do. In this case, since we're using Halo MCC, we want to use an in-place 1-pack file. So that is going to be in our maps directory. But besides that, since we're in the root directory, we don't need to specify a custom tags or custom map directory. We just need to specify to use the IPAC. So what we're going to do is invader-extract -p maps /in-place 1.ipac, and this is navigating us to this file right here. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and specify the map that we wish to extract, maps /a10.map. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. It's going to take some time to get started. It's going to decompress the in-place as well as the map, and then we'll start to see some status as it's going through and extracting the data. Now, you'll see some things here. CE anniversary sounds cannot be extracted at this time. We're going to go ahead and we'll fix that later. But for now, we're going to let this extract. It's going to take some time. But once it's done, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for all of the map files. I have a little macro that I have over here that'll speed that up for us. I'll explain how it works. However, if you set it up the same way that I have in this tutorial, as long as you're in the root directory, this macro will work for you, and it'll automatically extract all of the files for you. So, now that that's done, we can take a look here and see that in tags, we have some of the tags. So these are all of the files that were inside that scenario, or sorry, pardon me, inside the map, and these are all of the files that make up that map. So we're going to do the same thing for all of the rest of the files in the maps directory, but only for the maps. Now, to quickly and easily do everything, do the extraction for each file in the maps directory, I'm going to go ahead and use the macro, like I was saying before. To do that, we're going to do for/f, %f, basically saying for each file in directory b maps do. So basically saying for each file inside of the maps directory, do invader-extract -p, and we specify the in-place 1.ipac, and then here we're going to do maps /%nf.map. Now, this is kind of hard to read. You don't need to worry about what this necessarily means, but this is saying just the file name. So for each file inside of maps, we want just the file name, so this will be A10, so we have to add the .map back. And the reason that I did it this way is so when it comes across in place, it's going to add it's going to be inplace1.map, and it's not going to find it. So it won't try to decompress or extract that. So it'll just throw an error for that one and then move on to the next one, which is fine. So now if we hit enter, pardon me, I got to throw single quotes around this. You'll see that it does invader-extract -p maps inplace1.ipac maps a10.map. And it goes ahead and it starts extracting. Now it's going to skip everything for A10 because we already extracted it. At this point, it's going to take a while, so we'll just let it run, and then we'll come back later and take a look at what it did. Okay. Once this is done, we just got a few more steps left. I'm going to go ahead and close this, go back to our root directory, and inside here I'm going to load up Invader, and I'm going to delete everything in this folder. I'm going to come into my tags folder. I'm going to right click, create a new folder, and this is going to be backup. I'm going to go ahead and copy everything into there and give that a second to work. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead inside of my MCC bundle that I supplied for you. We have a sound. I'm going to open up sound. I'm going to drag this into here. I should have done that before I backed it up, but hindsight's always 20/20. So I'm going to give this a second, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy the sound into my backups as well. That way we have the backed up sounds file. If you like, you can just keep the RAR. You don't have to have another backup. You can always just re-extract it from this RAR file. But I'm going to do that just to make it easier on myself in case I lose the RAR in the future. When it gets to this point, I'm just going to go ahead and replace the files just to make sure that they're the most up-to-date files, since these are the original sound files. And I'm just going to let that finish up. Also, real quick while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and grab Invader. This is going to be the new version of Invader. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy that into the folder here. Another thing as well is on Open Carnage, you can find the current Invader build. I actually think it has its own Open Carnage page. So yeah, let's just do this. There it is. And I'll add this in the description as well. But if you like, you can get like the most up-to-date Invader build from this link here. Depending on when you watch this, the one I bundled might not be the most up-to-date. But just for today's sake, for simplicity and ease of access, I added it here. One last thing, I'm just going to extract sup. And then SMI. And these are two tools that I have created for modding MCC. I just included them in the bundle for ease of access. We're not going to be using them right now. We'll go over those tools in a later video. But just to test that everything works, we're going to go ahead and open up Blood Gulch inside of Sapien/Ahobo. Oh, I just noticed that I never ended up extracting a hobo in here. So real quick, the optional install was cornman. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open the cornman HEK, and we're going to grab a hobo and drag it in there. If you like, you can grab the cornman version 0 whatever. 00 version whatever. I'm actually going to use MEK. I'll explain that tool in the next video when we get talking about tags and how to edit them. But for this video, I'm just going to use a hobo. Now, Ahobo and Sapien do the same thing. Ahobo is a modded version of Sapien. I'm going to use Sapien to test to make sure that everything extracted correctly. And to do this, we need to go over how to set the affinity like I was talking about earlier. So, set the CPU cores. So inside of our tags directory, when Sapien opens, we're going to go into levels, test, and these are the multiplayer levels inside of test, Blood Gulch, and before I double click bloodgulch.scenario, I'm going to press Control-Shift-Escape, and this is going to open Task Manager. Inside Task Manager, under Sapien, I'm going to right click and go to Details. When we get into the Details tab, under Sapien here, I'm going to right click set affinity. What this does is allows us to set how many CPUs are dedicated to this program. Since Sapien can't support multiple CPUs, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all processors and just tick CPU 0. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to close this. And now we should be able to open bloodgulch.scenario inside of Sapien without any problem. So this is pretty loud. Let me adjust the volume. Open the volume mixer and turn down Sapien a bit. Alright, so now we have shown that Sapien can load up MCC maps after we've extracted them. Everything sort of has a blue tinge to it. You don't have to worry about that. That's just a quirk of the bitmaps. But yeah, so now we've set up our environment to mod Halo. And continuing from here, we're going to work on our first mod, but that's going to be it for our first video. I hope you enjoyed, and I appreciate you listening in. Alright, Future's already here. I'm just giving you a couple things to look at in between videos if you want to research on your own. We have Open Carnage here. It has a lot of really good tutorials. It's my go-to resource for Halo modding in general. And since CE is so similar to MCC, there's a lot of things that you could find here that actually carry over. So if you wanted to research a bit, you can come to opencarnage.net, and then we have CE General, CE Development. You can look through here. In Development, you have tutorials, and you can scroll through here, and you can look at a bunch of other things that other people have come to basically design and make that you can utilize, techniques, all kinds of stuff. Also, another good resource is going to be the Reclaimers Discord. I actually frequent this MCC Halo 1 Discord. I'm on here all the time. I have notifications enabled, so I see anything. So if you wanted to ask me anything, you could always come here as well. There's a bunch of really cool people here that'll be able to answer a lot of your questions as well. Since CE and MCC are very similar with the way that we have things set up now, you could very easily come in and ask some general questions because a lot of the tools carry over. Some of the people here are great, and I'd be happy to have you. I'll include a invite to the server down in the description.